Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And today we're going to be diving into day 11 of the World Whiskey Advent Calendar from Drinks by the Dram. This calendar has been very interesting so far. It's whiskeys from all over the world, and almost nothing that I'm familiar with. So we're about to break into the day 11 sample, pour it into a glass, give it a nosing and a tasting, and see what we can tell about it. See what I might think it is. Is it a Scotch? Is it an American bourbon? Some other kind of American whiskey with all that oak all over it? Or something else from Canada, New Zealand, South Africa. Let me put this away so I can't see what it is. So, here goes another adventure. This has a little color to it. It's an interesting color. Wow. It's got an interesting smell too. This is not a malted barley beverage. I'm picking up very clear bourbon notes. Now I'm really on the spot because I'm supposed to know this stuff. Yeah, I think we have here a predominantly corn and new oak aging type situation. I'm deciding how much rye is in here, and I think there is some. Yeah, I'm picking up some of the rye notes. So it's a pretty standard mash bill, or maybe even a high rye mash bill. I enjoy high rye bourbons. I drink rye whiskeys that can be anywhere from 51% to 95%, well, to 100%. So I'm familiar with the territory, so that puts more pressure on me this time, doesn't it? It's not a standard oaky, old type aroma that I'm used to with my favorite bourbons, which usually have some age and some higher ABVs. I'm not sure I'm picking up a higher ABV here. Might be a 45, might be a 40. And it's got that little bit of that funky, green, sappy note that you get sometimes with craft distilleries that aren't used to picking out their barrels. Don't have the experience, don't have the supplier. I'm not sure what it's from. But there's a little bit of that on the nose here. So I'm really going out on a limb early, aren't I? Anything else? Not a lot of the cherry or brown sugar notes that are real common. A little bit, but it's not, those aren't predominant notes here. This is going to be interesting and challenging and maybe embarrassing. Might not be a bourbon, it might be an American whiskey for one reason or another. Might not be a bourbon, it might just be some American whiskey that's categorized that way for one or another reasons. It's not the right kind of oak, it's not the right kind of mash bill. Some extra maturation or flavoring. Okay, I think that's about all I can say about the nose. Let's go in and taste it. I'm not sure I'm picking up a corn or bourbon type mash bill. I think I'm picking up new oak on the palate, and it might be a single malt that's put in new oak for maturation. Yeah, I'm saying it's a fairly delicate spirit, like a malted barley spirit rather than corn and rye. I think it's definitely new oak that imparts a lot of its own flavors and tends to dominate malted barley spirits from an early age. And I've got several in my collection, so there's a familiar taste. But it would be unwise to guess which one. I don't think it's Balcones. Might be Westland, or I don't know how many. There must be a dozen by now of nice craft distilleries that are producing single malts and then put into new oak for maturation. And I wouldn't know, but it's a familiar flavor because of the 3 or 4 that I've got and have tasted and have enjoyed. I like the flavor. But I'm not going to be able to guess, and there's certainly every possibility that I'll be very surprised by what this is. I'm not getting any of the normal bourbon or American whiskey type notes where they throw together 4 different grains and the corn drops down enough to where they can't really call it bourbon. If it was just 51%, they could. But when it drops down, it goes to whiskey. And definitely new oak flavor here. It's not to say it has to be American, but that's the ones that taste like this, that's where they've come from. So this is going to be interesting. It's not a really high ABV, but I'm going to throw in a little water just to see what changes, if anything, and see what the changes are. See if there's any more clues coming in here. New oak. New oak. Yeah, new oak. Still has that sappier, greener note than most bourbons that we're familiar with, that are famous. This is not from Kentucky. We're going to find out this is from Washington or Oregon or Colorado or maybe California. This is one of those West Coast malts, I'd say. Done in new oak. And maybe not every cask was dried out fully before the whiskey went in, before the new spirit went in. So it's not an off-putting note, it's not a predominant note. In some whiskeys it is, and you wouldn't go back to it. But this I would drink, I would buy, I would drink, I would enjoy. This is good. And I recognize the style, I think, with my big head and 2 years of tasting knowledge and experience. So I think that's about all I can say about it. American, and a craft distillery that with a smaller name. Let's see. No, F.E.W. Spirits Rye. Rye Spirit, 46.5% ABV. I've got a F.E.W. whiskey. I don't know if it's a bourbon or not. I did not pick up any rye notes on this. It only has to be 51% to be a rye in the US. So I can see how it would trick me that way. But it's very good. I like it. I like the F.E.W. whiskey that I have. And I'm embarrassed to say I can't remember if it's a bourbon or not. But I will certainly look up the F.E.W. rye because I like this. And it's a good craft presentation of a good craft spirit. They've treated it well. It would be good to take some time with it and figure out how it fits in with all the other ryes that I know about. But I like it. So, if you like the tasting and opinions that you're seeing here, then go ahead and like the video down below. Subscribe to the channel. We don't always do whiskey, but we always do something really tasty. And it certainly is whiskey all through December. So we will see more up until the 24th. So make comments on the review that I've done here. I don't know if you'd call it a review. It's a blind tasting and the first few impressions that I get. So come back for more, and that's all for now.